Coming up on this episode of Winning Bets, we've got our NASCAR jackpots for tonight. Hey, what's up everyone? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. That's right, it's a NASCAR night on Thursday night, and we're headed to the Kansas Motor Speedway for the 1.5 mile track. It should be an exciting race. It's kind of a cookie cutter track. It's pretty similar to Texas's last week, so we had a lot of good data to go off of. This is, guys, if you recall, we've got one contest on the NBC Sports Predictor app. That's the one for $10,000. That's the one where you got to predict stage 1 winner, 2 winner, 3 winner, and then give you the top 3 finish. And then we've also got the $25,000 contest on the Finish Line app. That's the one where they give you the 6 groups of drivers. You got to pick the driver that's going to finish the best out of that group. Then you got to also pick a winner and a second place finish. So the money's to be had. Look, nobody's won these contests. It's actually getting a little bit frustrating. I put in so much time into this research. I'm hoping this research pays off one time. But as I was doing this, leading up to this video today, I couldn't help but remember that I had an ex-girlfriend back in college. We were doing NFL pick'ems back in the day, and she would be picking who she thought was going to be winning the NFL game based on the mascot or who had the prettiest or cutest uniform. So, and she would actually win. She would win a couple times throughout the season, and boy, she let me know she won. Well, I just say that because this NASCAR contest has been so frustrating. Like I said, nobody's won any of these jackpots. I've come a little bit close to cashing in, but it's just frustrating. Maybe one of these weeks we'll have a little fun, and maybe I'll pick the driver based on their number if it falls around my anniversary or my birthday, or maybe if I like their sponsor, we'll go with something like that. We'll go with something maybe funny, but let's just try and trust the research. It just needs to be cool and cooperate one time. That's all it needs to cooperate. Ain't trying to be greedy. I want to share the money with all of you out there. So just one time, NASCAR, can you be cool? Can you follow the research? All right, let's see if this is going to be the week. Let's start off first with that NBC Sports Predictor app. Let's go ahead. Guys, I've talked about this actually on the last time. I'm not going to break down the full race and full details. I'm just pretty much going to get you the driver that I think is going to win in each of these categories, and then we'll just kind of move this video along. So let me slide over. Let me pop in the graphic here. So NBC Sports Predictor app, question 1, who's going to win stage 1? Look, I'm going to go ahead and of these drivers, I think stage 1 really matters where you start. The first stage is 80 laps. So Tyler Reddick starts in 23. Clint Boyer starts in 19. So we'll just go ahead and remove those guys. Alex Bowman starts in 6. Kyle Busch starts in 8th. But I'm going to give the edge here to Kyle Busch. Look, he has an average finish of 16.33 here at Kansas. 46% of his finishes has finished in the top 10, and he's got 1 win in Kansas. So I'm going to go with Kyle Busch for stage 1. Stage 2 is the next 80 laps in this race, and I'm going to go ahead and of these 4 drivers, I'm focusing on Brad Keselowski. Look, he starts 7th. He's got 2 wins at Kansas. He's got an average finish of 12.50. He's got 20% finishes in the top 10 and 50% finishes, or 20% finishes in the top 5 and 50% finishes in the top 10. So I'm going with Brad Keselowski. As for the final stage, that's going to be the 3rd one, and that's going to be the actual last one of the actual race. That's the last 106 laps of the race. I'm going to go ahead and go with Kevin Harvick here, guys. Look, he's got 3 wins. He's got an average finish at this track of 9.79. He's got 29% of his finishes in the top 5, and he's got 54% of his finishes in the top 10. So just a real good driver here at Kansas. As for our top 3, we're going to go with Harvick, we're going to go with Elliott, and we're going to go with Truex Jr., rounding out the top 3. So to recap, we've got Busch, we've got Keselowski, we've got Harvick, and then go Harvick, Elliott, and Truex Jr. That's how we're going to answer these questions for a chance to win $10,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app. All right, guys, let me move my notes. Let's get up my research for, some of it's the same. Obviously, the only questions are really the same are about first and second place. The other questions here on the Finish Line app about who's going to win each stage, obviously, it takes all different research, so it's not easy putting this stuff together, but I thoroughly enjoy doing it. I like crunching numbers and analyzing things. It's a cool thing I enjoy doing. So let's jump right into it. We've got the Finish Line app for a chance to win $25,000. Again, they give you 6 groups. Pick the driver that's going to finish the best amongst the group. Then all you got to do is pick a winner and a second place. That's it, guys. That's all we got to do. What we got to do is write one time, and we all share $25,000. So let's jump right into it. Group 1, we're obviously going Kevin Harvick here. Look, I already gave you the information on the previous app, so let's just roll on to the next one. Group 2, Martin Truex Jr., he's got 2 wins, an average finish of 13.87, 35% finishes in the top 5, and 43% finishes in the top 10. There's a reason why I picked him finishing 3rd in the other app, because Martin Truex Jr. loves Kansas. Next, Group 3 is Kurt Busch. Look, 14% of his finishes are in the top 5, 39% of his finishes in the top 10, average finish of 15.36 here at Kansas. Group 4, we're going to go with Austin Dillon. And look, this isn't, being a homer. And, I understand he won the race last week. I did say that these are cookie cutter tracks. So Kansas and Texas do have some similarities. But this is more just where he starts. He starts 16th. And his recent track record is all significantly better than his other drivers. And I'm not holding a grudge for him costing me that head-to-head bet against Ryan Newman last week. I do believe Austin Dillon can do it. All right, guys, let's move on to Group 5. We're going to go with Chris Buescher. 25% of his finishes are in the top 10. 63% of his finishes are in the top 20. An average finish of 17.75. Rounding out the last and final group is going to be Cole Custer. Look, he starts best amongst these groups of the drivers by 3 spots, and there's not much separation between this group. I decided I'm going to pick Cole Custer because he rides for Stewart-Haas. And I was always kind of a little fan of Tony Stewart back in the day. I don't really have a favorite driver. I've never had a favorite driver. But I kind of always liked Tony Stewart. And without there being much separation between these drivers in this group, he races for Stewart-Haas. So I'm going to give it to Cole Custer. As for the winner, we already know it's Kevin Harvick. So let's go Harvick. Second place, we're going to give it to Elliott. I'm going to go ahead and give that sucker to Elliott. So to recap, we've got Harvick, we've got Truex Jr., we've got Kurt Busch, we've got Dillon, we've got Buescher, we've got Custer, we've got Harvick, and we've got Elliott. So that's how we're going to round out those questions on the that's the Finish Line app for $25,000, guys. All right, guys, get your picks in. That race is tonight, Thursday night. You don't want to miss out when this research hits one of these times. You don't want to be on the sidelines not cashing these big paychecks with me. So get on the app, download the app. Let's go. It's going to be fun. Kansas Motor Speedway tonight. Lots going to be a big night. We've got Kansas Motor Speedway. We've got MLB returning. Going to be a lot of fun. I've got 3 bets going on. There's 2 in baseball, 1 in Serie A. You can go ahead and check out that video if you didn't, depending on which order you watch these suckers in. All right, guys. Had a good time with you. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.